Hola a todos y bienvenido to episode 10 of Voces en Vivo, brought to you by the Spanish Circle. I'm your host Akriti Kumari, and today we have an absolutely phenomenal session planned for you all. Our theme today is Runways and Rhythms, the power of multidimensional passion. Joining us is a very special guest, Mr. Punit Soneji. Mr. Puneet is a Spanish language professional with over 20 years of experience, the creator of Desi Hispano YouTube channel, an aviation enthusiast and a DJ. Hola Puneet, y bienvenido to the Spanish Circle and to this episode. We are so thrilled to have you today.
Hola, Kriti, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so happy to be with you guys today.
Thank you so much. I would love to dive right into the questionnaire and not waste any more of your time. And yeah, talk about your wonderful experience. Like, man, you have some really nice experience, and with all of the expertise you have today, we are very lucky to have you with us and, learn so much from you. Yeah, talking about one of your very special expertise, you have 20 years of expertise in the field of Spanish language. You have self-taught it, and you also do YouTube channels and YouTube videos. So first of all, for our university students who now have too much, the technology at their fingertips, what is the fundamental principle of language learning that hasn't changed and that they shouldn't forget, that you practice throughout your journey of learning Spanish and any other language?
Yes, I started learning Spanish during my school days, and there were no smartphones or internet. Um, what I used to do is I used to visit places where I could meet the foreigners, like universities, or tourist spots. Ahmedabad was not that touristic at that time, but I used to visit some international universities where I could find foreigners. I remember meeting a Spaniard, a guy from Spain who used to study in IIM Ahmedabad. So with his help, I entered the university campus, and was able to meet other Hispanic people studying there. So then once in some years ago, I visited Mumbai just to meet a captain of an airline, of a big airline. I went there because he was a Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico is my dream island, so it's a home to reggaeton, my favorite music. So kind of jackpot for me, so students in the students in the universities can still visit tourist these kind of tourist places, to find native speakers to practice with. For example, in Delhi, you have a lot of tourist places like India Gate and all. So the lesson is simple. Technology helps, but real conversations with people are the most important part of learning a language. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that is actually a great perspective because I believe that even in our previous episodes we had this learning as well that you just mentioned, that learning a language and through books and via classes is good and important, but also learning it via people and talking, having conversation, being involved in extracurriculars and communities is something that is a very a great thing, and people should actually perceive it and encourage it more. And I believe that we have a lot of guests who might have been from different Spanish countries, and yeah, Puerto Rico is something that we all love as a country. It is such a great location. So all the best, and we do hope that you have the exposure of there, and maybe we can connect another time and we can talk about Puerto Rico from your perspective, since it's
Yeah.
something that you would love to go there and visit. And yeah, talking about the Spanish Circle and what our initiative, as you just mentioned, how important communities are, which is what we are trying to do here. We are trying to represent a language and a culture, and make people aware of it and promote it in a positive way. So from your perspective, having mastered the language on your own, what practical element do you think universities should, like, incorporate more into the classes and make learning the language more alive and more nice, or like playful like that, and not boring?
Well, see, since I learned Spanish on my own, I'm not very familiar with university teaching methods and all. But however, what I believe is the one thing, very important thing, is communication. Communication is the most important part of learning a language. Only reading books and doing exercises is not enough. People should speak more. Should speak. Students should speak more, as real conversations help them to think faster and learn better. Communication is what makes you use your brain very fast, and it actually develops your learning skills. What you're doing here is you are training your brain. You train your brain, uh, you know and activities like role plays, for example, speaking practice, within a class, within a university, can make the language feel more real and alive.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually very true. I do believe that practical practices are actually very important, And even if we are not just talking about the language, but learning any subject, not just the theoretical aspect of it, but the practical aspect, and learning it through different games and different scenarios is very important. And I think that is what Saurav also does in his another initiative, I would say. Am I right, Saurav?
Yes, exactly. Representing the culture, including the Spanish language, and with the help of activities, is something that connects people, and we are able to speak and experience it in much better way. So yeah,
Yeah.
we do that through Spanish Hangouts.
Yeah, yeah, that is very true. Thank you so much to both of you. And now, yeah, moving on to our next question. I saw that you have a very distinct and very great experience in Chile, where you like lived there for quite some time, and we would love to more, know about it. So, for our members who know you are trying to study and who want to go to Chile, who are preparing to travel there, what does Chilean Spanish and Chilean culture look like, and what does that teach you, about cultural adaptability that obviously one cannot learn in a book or via a classroom like that?
See, whenever you visit a foreign country, you'll always learn something, some words in their own dialects that you won't find in dictionaries. You see, you won't learn them in a classroom. Chilean Spanish is one of them. They speak fast and they pronounce different. They speak in a high pitched tone, they use their own dialect, their hergas, what they call over there, hergas, that makes a foreigner difficult to understand. Though people living in big cities of Chile, like the capital city Santiago, are easy to comprehend, are easy to understand because they are, bit professional and they speak good, very good Spanish. Now, but where I lived, it was a small countryside town, where people had their own dialect, So at first it was difficult for me to understand, them. I used to ask them to repeat some sometimes, but eventually then I got used to it. Chilean Spanish, what teaches you is to master one of the fastest, most colloquial, and heavily abbreviated, Spanish dialects, which is rich in local slang and unique pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, actually going there and yeah, visiting the country and learning it from the people there, and the actual Spanish and the native language that they speak is something that a course or a university degree cannot like teach you, or cannot help you understand. So I think it is very important. So if people can, have the chance to go to a place and learn the culture within their own
Mhm.
eyes, and yeah, within in the presence of a great, like an opportunity like that. So I do believe that is something that should be very much encouraged and
Mhm.
looked forward to. Yeah, and talking about one of your very unique hobbies, I would say it was aviation and your great interest in that. So how does that come with in play with language, and your journey in Chile, your journey with the Spanish language, Hispanic culture? So how does the your interest in aviation and aeroplanes and everything like come in contact with that? How is that? How does that work together for you?
Mhm. In my case, aviation and Spanish are two different passions. However, Spanish has helped me connect with people in aviation from different Hispanic countries. As I mentioned earlier, I traveled to Mumbai just to meet a Puerto Rican pilot because it was a big thing for me, a person who flies plane and a person who speaks Spanish. That too
Yeah.
from my favorite country, Puerto Rico. So it was a big thing for me. So I had to go there, taking a leave from my office. So
Yeah.
even during my first flight, when I flew for the first time in 2012, I just entered the cockpit and spoke to the pilot. I was so excited, and I found out that the captain of that flight was from Cuba. I asked him where are you from? He's from Cuba. So I was like, oh, you speak Spanish? I speak Spanish. So I was again, double excited at that time to speak with someone in Spanish, who is a pilot for the first time. So I about aviation. I also had plans to study in aviation to become a pilot in Chile, but it didn't happen because of COVID. I went to Chile in 2020, and it was a year of COVID. So my plans were not success. It did not happen. But what I do now is use a flight simulator at home and enjoy my passion. So it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I think technology has really, come across a lot, and that is something that was not possible before. But with technology, now you're able to pursue and
Just yeah.
yeah.
So I went to Chile to become a pilot. So it didn't happen because of COVID. But I use a flight simulator at home to enjoy my passion.
Yeah, actually, that is very fascinating. And now knowing that, I do believe that I would love to try that as well, because I think we never thought of that as, such a great thing. But yeah, I think that is actually a good technology that has been developed in a recent times. And talking about your passion, you are a man of different passions, and you have a lot of experience in like singing, and you do rap in Spanish as well as you have passion in DJing. So how does that work, like music being such an incredible icebreaker tool? So from your musical perspective, if you think about that, how would you recommend students to actively use music for, like language learning and fluency, and like connecting to language and the culture beyond just listening to the music that is being played?
Yeah, that's a pretty nice question. Spanish music is not similar across the globe. It varies from country to country. Some people prefer slow or pop genre. Others enjoy more, hip hop style, like me. While hip hop music like reggaeton it's not a good option to learn Spanish, but you'll always learn something from the music. That is the pronunciation. People used to ask me at that time, how did I learn pronunciation? I have learned Spanish by myself. I didn't go to any institute. Or people used to ask me, how did you learn the pronunciation? How did I know how to pronounce? So the simple answer is from the music. I used to go to cyber cafes at that time, write down the lyrics of the song, or get a printout of the songs, come home and then listen to the song and sing it with the with the song. So uh, the most important thing over here is to know where is the singer from, For example, Enrique Iglesias is Spanish. He's from Spain, so he will sing in. He will have the Spain accent in his Spanish. Shakira is Colombian, so you learn that accent. So how this is how I learned to pronounce the words. This is how I learned the pronunciation. Students should actively listen, read lyrics, and sing along to improve their pronunciation and fluency.
Yeah,
I hope, I
that
mean, this
yeah.
answers.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. And I do believe that, we knew this before that, music can help. But the point that you just made was actually very brilliant. That looking at the accent of the singer and the region that the singer belongs actually helps a lot, because then, you won't confuse the accents, because every country has different accents and they pronounce a particular word differently. So it helps that if you know the singer and you know your song in a good way, so it can
Mhm.
actually help and be productive, rather than just listening to the words and just like not understanding it completely, in a sense, if you don't know the history of the singer also. So I think that
Yeah.
actually is a very important point that you just mentioned. Thank you so much for that. And I do believe that the students listening to this right now would relate to that, and it would be a great advice for them as well. Now, coming to another segment of our webinar, this has been such an insightful conversation till now. Talking about your many ways, passions, and experiences. Even if we have to, these days learn one language, do one work, we get very tired very easily. Our brain gets muddled all the way. And seeing as how you are managing so many different things at one time, so how does that work for you? Like, doesn't your brain like ever feel like you might be mixing all of the stuff, and you might be going crazy some of the time? So, like, what is the secret behind it? Like, what is the strategy for, like, ensuring that everything runs smoothly, even in the busiest and most stressful days of the weeks that you go through?
Mm-hmm. See, I don't get bored to speak in Spanish. I never get bored. See, I what I do is just don't stop speaking in Spanish. At work I use Spanish. See, at home when I get time, I connect to the this application called Hello Talk. I speak to native speakers on that application. So it's like continuously Spanish for me. Well, even while traveling, for example, I keep listening to Spanish music in my e- airports and all. Sometimes I think in Spanish, something I also dream in Spanish, So it happens naturally to me. Everything, all the things happen naturally to me. I don't have to force myself to keep in touch with Spanish. It happens naturally to me. If I'm walking on a road, if I see something, written in Spanish, I'm like, oh, that is Spanish. That word is Spanish. That word is Spanish. So it's like, it is surrounded uh, around me. This language is surrounded around me. I have made it around me. That's why I created a group, that WhatsApp group, and all the communities.
Yeah.
So I never get bored from this language.
Yeah, that is actually very optimistic and positive, and to know, because a lot of students and people who might be new to the language, new to the culture, get bored, even I would say, after some time, the initial excitement, when it rubs off and when it starts weaning off, then people then when go to the nitty gritty of the language, then it starts feeling less like magic and more like just a routine. So I would say that they could maybe, like, take inspiration from you and start dreaming in that language, because I think that is a very good point that you made, that to start dreaming in the language, to start thinking in the language, like whatever you are doing, whatever work it is that happening around you, the people, even if you are making friends, try making friends maybe online from that particular nation. There are a lot of apps, as you just mentioned. One of the app is Hello Talk. So I do believe that that is something that people can take out from this conversation and get
Hmm.
motivated from you, and actually do that to ensure that they are learning language in a productive way and in an optimistic way. Now coming to the last question of this webinar, the my part of my questionnaire, and then I would be handing off the mic to Saurabh for the very exciting rapid fire round. Since were talking about communities, and you have your own community as well, your YouTube channel, Desi Hispano YouTube channel, and we are here on our community, the Spanish Circle, Circulo Castellano. So, in your 20 years plus of experience and expertise, how do you feel like these communities and channels getting together and trying to raise awareness about a language and a culture, doing something like this, does it like actually help, and does it like actually makes some sense here in India, and like does it really motivate students who might be planning to learn the language, and who might want to learn the language and look or experience the culture in a while or in future? So like what is in your opinion that goes behind it?
That group, when I created the group I have, the community I have, my motive was to help other people in Spanish, or maybe learn a thing or two from from the native speakers. And this community gives a chance to members to share their experiences, learn vocabulary, interact with experienced people or tutors, get a lot of information on this language. What I like to do now is, really like to do is to organize in-person meetups in Ahmedabad, in my city, for those who speak Spanish. But it's kind of difficult. Always I feel, jealous of these guys, because Saurabh and Siddharth, they are gathering around with their meetups in Delhi, and Rahul is doing in Pune. I'm like, oh, there's nobody who's in Ahmedabad for me, for with whom I can go and meet up with these people. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I mean, why people don't love Spanish in Ahmedabad? So these are all these meetings are very important part of your life. You can learn a lot from each other, people. So that's it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's a saying, I would say, that birds of a feather flock together. So yeah, so
yeah.
if you so if you have the same interest, then definitely you would love the company as well, and it helps. I would say that it helps because listening from a sort of experience, I believe that being with the live meetups that they have done in Spanish Hangout has actually helped him a lot as a person also when
Yes.
learning the language and knowing more about the culture. And also his partner Chandrasekhar, they both have done a lot of work in that, I have seen. So I believe that that is something that's very exciting, and an inspiration that people can take from here, that if you have a partner, or if you could find even a virtual partner or physical partner to practice the language with them, then that is something that can help in their journey as well. Now, this has been very fun and very exciting conversation, and I would be handing over the mic to Saurav for the exciting Spanish rapid fire round. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you
Spanish,
so much,
adelante.
Akriti. Okay. Thank you so much, Akriti. Muchas gracias, Mit, por estar aquí. Eh, yeah, before we move to Spanish, so I have some small questions which just popped up in my mind while you were answering her
Yeah,
questions.
sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Go ahead.
firstly, I want to know, like, I have heard this a lot, even from people from Chile, that those Chilenos use slangs even in their formal language. Is it true?
No. There is a conjugation of Chile, which is not taught in any school. Like, for example, you say, yo hablo, tú hablas. They say, tú
Mhm. Yeah.
hablai. So this
Hablé,
is
tenéis.
this hablai, this type of conjugation. They use it with in the day-to-day life, but professionally they don't use it, because I have been calling in Chile at my work a lot of time, Yeah, they have
Yeah.
some words, they do use from Chile, but not they are not slangs. They are not slang. They are those words are the own part of Chilean Spanish, but they are not slangs. They are just like Chilean Spanish. Like for example, uh, in Spanish we say enseguida to say immediately, but Chileans in Chile they say al tiro, but that is not a slang. That is just a part of Chilean Spanish. So al tiro, these words they do use professionally, but
Okay.
some words like very very slang type of words, colloquial words, they don't use professionally. Even managers and directors, people, they at office, they with friends they can use, of course, at office, but when speaking to a senior, they normally don't use those words.
Okay. Okay. So also one thing. While speaking, do you use po as well as in Chile?
Yeah, when I lived in Chile, yeah, I got habituated to it, to speaking with Po when my wife lived here in India also. At that
Okay.
time also, I was very very close to that Po thing. Po on, every sentence in Chile, it ends with Po on. Like it's like very funny, the how they speak it, so po, yeah, it it came to me naturally, but when I started to work, here in India, uh those things slowly just went off,
Yeah, they diminish very
diminished,
like
yeah.
I
So
agree.
now I'm like speaking more of Spain Spanish,
Yeah.
Castellano.
So you're more neutral. You're more neutral, more much more understandable now as compared to earlier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but when I
Muchas
speak in
gracias. Mm-hmm. Yes.
when I speak on Hello Talk with Chilean
Okay.
people, I do speak with them in Chilean Spanish.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I wish I can attain that kind of switching modes in myself as well, switching from one accent to another. You know, also you mentioned that you dream in Spanish. That's something
Yeah,
in my eyes that's a god mode, I would say. Like in games you have other different modes. Yeah, that's a god mode of a language. You start dreaming in a language. Wow, hats off to
yeah.
you, Puneet.
It happens. It happens. I mean, of course, dreaming it's not in our hand, but but if your brain is has one language, surrounded in every corner of your brain, it's uh, how do you say, eventually turns into a dream. I have dreamt in speaking with my favorite singers, rappers. you know I,
Wow.
ha- I have dreamt of taking selfies with them, and suddenly the selfie disappears from my mobile. Things like that. I've spoken to with Daddy Yankee in Hindi also.
Oh, that's amazing.
So weird kind of dreams happen to me a lot in Spanish.
Amazing. Ok, bueno. mm, Demasiado inglés, pues. Ahora en tu
Después de
modo.
mucho tiempo he hablado en inglés sin parar.
Bueno, bueno, ahora en español. Vamos a seguir con la parte final de la ronda Rapid Fire. Bueno, yo quiero que tú respondes esas preguntas fácilmente, sin pensar más, directo. ¿Ok?
Sí, vale, vamos
Solamente
allá.
una palabra o una oración. Está bien. Bueno,
Ok.
la primera pregunta. El mejor acento hispano para aprender a cantar.
El
Yo
de
sé, pero
España.
¿de España? ¿En serio?
España, sí, sí, sí.
Bueno, pero creí que vas a decir Puerto Rico, puertorriqueño.
Para aprender no, pero sí. Pero para
Ujú.
aprender España está bien, está bien.
Ok. Bueno, tu gusto. Airbus, Boeing o ATR.
Airbus.
Ah, a mí me encanta el diseño de ATR.
¿Te gusta el diseño de TR?
Sí.
Hoy, hoy,
Y
hoy
también el
mismo,
ruido.
hoy mismo, no, ayer estaba volando ATR en mi juego de Fly
Ah,
91.
ok, ok, ok. Bueno, una palabra de la jerga chilena que usarías en la reunión formal por accidente.
Por accidente. ¿Cachai?
Sí, ¿cachai? ¿Qué significa?
¿Cachai? Es como, ¿entendiste o no? Did you get it or not?
Cachai.
¿Cachai? Es como
Cachai.
catch it.
Ok,
¿Cachai? Es
cachai.
como, ¿entendiste o no?
Ok, bueno. La canción en español con el mejor beat para hacer el remix.
Mírame.
Mírame.
Mírame es una canción de Daddy Yankee. He hecho 10 remezclas de esa canción. Tiene un beat súper buena de 96 BPM, beats per minute. Muy buena beat. Y he hecho 10 remezclas de esa canción.
Qué bien, pues. ¿Qué
Mírame.
dices sobre Dura?
Tienes que escuchar.
Por supuesto, en mi lista ahora.
Tiene palabras en hindi también en esa canción.
Oh,
Hindi,
qué
sí,
bien.
es muy bonita la canción,
Bueno,
sí.
mírame. Bueno, ¿y qué te opinas sobre Dura? Dura de Daddy Yankee.
Sí, está buena, pero el beat no tanto, pero sí que está buena. Dura,
Ok,
sí.
bueno. La regla gramatical del español que más te costó dominar.
Dominar. Bueno, yo lo que no aprendí era conjugación de vosotros.
Ok.
En cualquier tense, ¿sabes? Yo no me tengo que pensar cada vez, porque nunca he practicado, no lo he aprendido, la conjugación de vosotros. Si yo prefiero usar como plural de ustedes en usar vosotros. Entonces, porque solo es una cosa que solo se habla en un país, por eso decidí no aprenderlo. Pero a veces me cuesta conjugación de vosotros.
Está bien. Tenemos desafíos en cada paso, ¿no? Bueno, un destino de América Latina perfecto para estudiantes universitarios. Para mí, por favor.
México. Yo diría
A mí me
México.
encanta.
México, muy grande, muy buen lugar para estudiar, sí, diría.
Sí. Bueno, el aeropuerto con la mejor vista para fotografiar aviones en el mundo hispano.
Mundo hispano, no sé, pero en general te digo que hay un aeropuerto en Saint Martin que se llama Princess Juliana International Airport. Ahí es mejor lugar para tomar fotos porque el plane como pasa justo encima de ti para aterrizar.
Creo que he visto en los reels.
Muchísimos, sí, hay muchísimos vídeos de ese aeropuerto.
Sí. Ok. ¿Aprender gramática con libros o aprender escuchando por YouTube?
YouTube.
Por YouTube, sí.
Sí.
De acuerdo de ti. 100%. Bueno, el plato de comida, el plato chileno que más extrañas.
Sopaipilla. Sopaipilla es como un pan, pero es un poquito dulce, pero me encantó el sabor de sopaipilla. Aquí en India no se vende, pero bueno.
Es como pan de muerto.
No sé. No,
Okay.
Es que no conozco comida de otros países, solamente de Chile.
Bueno, pan de muerto es un poquito dulce, en una parte dulce. Bueno, creo que puede ser. Bueno, un consejo de 3 palabras para alguien que te quiere crear su propio canal de YouTube.
Consejo de 3 palabras.
Sí.
Hay que ser constante, pues siempre ser constante.
Bueno, sí. Lo que hacemos por nuestro canal también. Bueno,
Muy bien. Es el 10º episodio ya. Pues
sí.
muy buen trabajo hasta ahora.
Muchas gracias. La habilidad más subestimada en un estudiante de idiomas.
¿Cómo? Perdón.
La habilidad más subestimada en un estudiante de idiomas. The most underrated skill that a person
Ah,
can have.
sí, 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 sí. Ah, listening skill, la habilidad de escucha. La habilidad, la escucha activa, active listening skills.
Ujú. De acuerdo de ti, porque, um, bueno, en nuestra clase también no escuchamos a la profesora. Bueno, ok, bueno. Ah, bueno, es la pregunta final. Pues muchísimas gracias, Punit, por estar aquí,
Gracias a ti.
por responderme las preguntas. Fue una sesión, una hora muy maravillosa. Me encantaría hablar contigo y por supuesto, si mm, tenemos la oportunidad, vamos a hacer una reunión en Ahmedabad con todos los hispanohablantes y también los estudiantes, profesores, cualquier quiera.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Muchísimas
Me
gracias.
encantaría estar contigo, me encantaría unirme contigo en una reunión aquí en Ahmedabad, o si algún día si viajo a Delhi, me comunico contigo y ya
Por
podemos hacer
supuesto,
planes.
por supuesto. Muchas gracias. Bueno, now to Akriti.
Muchas gracias, Saurav, and muchas gracias, Puneet. That was very lovely, exciting rapid fire round. Your answers were amazing, and yeah, thank you so much again for giving us your time and your expertise and this insightful discussion. We had a lot of fun, and I believe that the people who might be seeing this video, who would in the future would have a lot of inspiration and